Chapter 28, Fear and Trust. George walked into his office building like he owned it, ready to love and inspire his team. But as he walked toward the elevator and thought about the mountainous challenge that lay in front of him, self-doubt reared its ugly head again, as it always had. What if they don't love me back, he thought. It wouldn't be the first time love had gone unanswered. What if I can't inspire my team? What if I can't inspire myself? What if it's all too late? Fear consumed him, and he felt like someone had hauled up and punched him right in the stomach. Doubled over and unable to breathe, he looked out the window and saw his bus driving away. He knew what Joy and Jack had told him were powerful truths, but living them and making them real was an entirely different matter altogether. Caught between knowledge and action, George was paralyzed by fear. The elevator door opened and closed just as he stood there, unable to move. On the bus, he'd felt safe, but now he felt like a chained gladiator, about to be thrown into a cage with a bunch of lions that didn't care about the bus rules. His mind was so preoccupied with his negative thoughts that he didn't notice a familiar rival standing in front of him, nervous and shaking. Michael spoke first. I know I quit, George, and I know I told you that your bus is going to crash, but I've been doing a lot of thinking. And Jamie called to say that your bus is cruising now. She said the team has been talking, and it's like you are a changed man and they're all excited. I'm here to ask for another chance, George. I know I can help the team, and I know I can help you. George, who was trying to catch his breath, stood up straight. Would it be a big mistake to give Michael another chance? He might still be an energy vampire. Yet, they really could use him now. George remembered reading an article about Richard Branson, who gave one of his employees a second chance, and the guy went on to become one of the most trusted leaders over the years. George's fear was dissipating, and he was thinking more clearly now. Okay, you got it. I'll give you another shot, but I need you to be a chief energy officer. Chief energy what? Michael asked. I'll explain upstairs. Just get ready for an incredible day. The elevator opened and Michael walked in. You're coming, George? I'll be upstairs in a minute. Thank you for everything, Michael said with a sincere and humble look. I won't let you down. As the elevator started to close, George responded, It's good to have you back. George looked outside at the spot where the energy bus had dropped him off. He thought about what had just happened. Joy had just talked about looking for signs and letting them guide you on your path, and he couldn't help but wonder if Michael was a sign. Maybe Michael's asking for another chance meant that George's team was ready to follow him. Maybe his giving Michael another chance meant George was ready to lead and love his team. Michael was an obstacle, but maybe this meant that the obstacles were dissolving. Joy had talked about being on the right path, and perhaps he was on it. Everything lining up to clear the way for his bus. After all, as in a movie or a dream, Michael had approached at just the right moment to wake George up and help him move past his fear. This vampire had asked to come back just when they needed him most. This made George think of the dream he had had the other night, and it all became clear. The dream had been of a sign, too, letting him know to trust. He was the driver of his bus, and he had a choice. The decision to keep Michael and trust him was a choice, and so was the decision to move forward with trust or stay paralyzed by fear. Sure, he was racing toward possible destruction of his career, and his bus could surely crash. But he had a choice to believe it was all going to work out or quit now. Jack had told him that chief energy officers overcome challenges by charging forward with trust and optimism. And that's what George was determined to do. Though trust, he knew, would tap into the ultimate GPS system, God's positioning system, and it would continue to guide him just as it had been guiding him all along. He couldn't ignore the signs. They were all pointing in the right direction, and the lights were all green, telling him to go. I'm not going to live with fear and let fear get in my way, he thought. After all, they don't call it a leap of fear. They call it a leap of faith for a reason. If I can trust in God and myself and my team, then they can trust in each other and in me, he said to himself as the fear he had felt earlier had turned into faith and faith had turned into resolve. George then stepped onto the elevator and now he was truly ready to take his leap of faith.